Hello everyone, welcome back to WHU TV. It's nice to see you, I hope you're keeping well. There's a lot of talk about West Ham player contracts over the last 7 days, so let's dive into it guys. As always, this video is sponsored by the channel sponsor 3retro.com. Please click the link in the description below that will take you directly through to the West Ham section of their website. But as you can see from the icon that's up here, there's also Admiral and Umbro track jackets, polo shirts, sweatshirts and t-shirts, so go check those out. Any purchases you make through the link in the description below, the commission that the channel would normally be getting, as I always say, I'll be sending directly onto the charity Iron Supporting Food Banks. They're based in the Newham area and they're helping those in the Newham area and the Essex County and further afield for that matter to help put food on the tables for those that have been really struggling over the last 4 to 5 years. Say this, I can get through that when I've had a decent night's sleep. That's one of the reasons why there hasn't been any content this week, guys, is because at the end I just want to take a week out, just relax, recharge. It's been brilliant. But any purchases you make through the link in the description below, you'll be helping out those the less fortunate than you and I. And as I say, you'll be saving yourself a few quid. So it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. Right, so let's talk about it. Jarrod Bowen announced on Sunday that he signed a contract extension until the year 2030, pretty much making him 33 by the time he there, and therefore it's very possible to retire with West Ham. Now, this is the reason why I've said that Declan Rice isn't a legend, because sorry for the squeaky chair, guys. Jarrod Bowen is a legend in my opinion, because at the end of the day he's already an icon and an idol for West Ham. You know, he scored the winning goal that got us the Conference League final cup. Or victory, I should say, or both, basically, the victory and the cup. And also, for that matter, he said that I want to repay the club as they were the only ones that saw any faith in me. Well, words to that effect, anyway. And he wants to end his career, as Ogbonna said a little while back, that he wants to end his career with West Ham. That's why the guy is a legend, and will always be a legend in West Ham. He's a brilliant centre forward. He's a brilliant winger as well, for that matter. He's an all-round forward. I do think he's capable of scoring more goals than he currently is doing, even with his great run of form that he's on. I think Bowen knows that as well. I've said many times, you know, even when Bowen was at a really, really good peak a couple of seasons ago, I did say that he scores less than he's capable of doing. He really, really is. He could have had a couple against Freiburg. He really could. Freiburg, sorry. He could have had a couple against Freiburg the other week. So, but it is, you know, it's great news that he's signed this contract. And yes, it took 18 months for that matter. Tim Steidten getting involved in it. That's what he's there to do. He's there to sort out the technical things for the club. It's not just there to, you know, identify and bring in new targets. He's there to sort out player contracts as well, other little bits and pieces as a result of it. But of course, the bigger picture on this is other players are having their contracts discussed as well. Kurt Zuma, Paquetá, we're looking at trying to get him what I think was about 200 grand a week. I think probably Zuma's probably not that far behind it in that sort of conversation. Two cracking players. You know, I was dubious when Zuma was given the captaincy band, but to be fair, he's done it with aplomb. He really, really has done it with aplomb, and likewise deserves it, and also likewise deserves a new contract with better wages, and likewise Paquetá as well, for that matter. Look at the flip side of this, of course. The bigger elephant in the room is David Moyes. David Moyes' contract runs out at the end of the season. The hell are the club doing? You know, I've been critical of David Moyes, but when he came back for the second time, I said he needs we need to give him time and give him some space, and we have done. And he's won us a trophy since the first day I was born. For fuck's sake, why aren't the club just getting contracts? To be fair, it's probably ongoing in the background and conversations, and he'll probably sign a new contract in January, or he'll probably do it towards the end of the season, something like that. But my instincts are saying that he will have a new contract for him probably in January. If we are still flying high in the league and in Europe in January, David Moyes deserves a new contract. He genuinely does. He's a record breaker. Genuinely a record breaker. Third season. Where are we? Yeah. So I was watching Grim Tales last night. For those older ones, you know what I'm talking about. Great Rick Mail program. Yeah, he's 3 seasons on the trot. We're in Europe. We're the longest unbeaten British team in Europe for, 60 years. He's won us a trophy, as I said, since the first day I was born. What more does David Moyes need to do in order to get a new contract? I would love him to have a 2-year extension. I genuinely would. Because at the end of the day, there's rumours about us going back in for Maguire in January. I'm not really sure how true those rumours are. I know people class it as reports. They're not reports, because reports have a conclusion at the end. They have the premise, the investigation, and the conclusion at the end. You don't have that with football sorts. It's like, oh yeah, I had some bloke say this, so I'm going to put it out there. No, it's not like that in any shape or form. But if the rumour, as I say, this is why we don't talk about these things, because they're rumours and they're not true. Well, they're not based on fact. They're based on people's over conversations, etc., etc. You know, don't get me wrong. There's no smoke without fire. I wouldn't be at all surprised in any shape or form if West Ham go back to Man United in January saying, "Look, he wants out. It's clear you want him out. Let's sort something out." You know, because obviously at the end of the day, we've got a cover of Frog Bonner, and I don't think Mavropanos is that. I think Mavropanos is either a Guedes or Zuma's cover for Europe. At least this season, anyway. At least. But guys, put your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you're thinking on this. And of course, looking at the flip side of it, it looks very much like Creswell and Fabianski aren't getting new extensions as it stands at the time of this recording. You know, don't get me wrong, we've got 7 months until the season ends, so anything's possible. But at the same point, I do genuinely think that Creswell's going to be sold in January. I do think also that Johnson is probably going to be sold in January as well, for that matter. I mean, neither of them need to. They can say, no, I'm just going to walk away in the summer. And fair play to them. But I do think, given the circumstances under both players' contract discussions, they're going to be going out as quickly as possible. I do generally think that. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But, yeah, you know, there was an article from the Toxic website over the last couple of days that was saying about there's no money available for transfers in January. I dispute that. Granted, some of the reports that were coming out, the reason why we made a profit was because in the summer transfer window is because the money's been going on to bring the club debt down. I get that 100%, but I do not see under any circumstances. It's probably the usual shadow games, but we have to bring in a striker in January. We have to. It's very, very obvious that that's the last missing piece of the jigsaw. Now, of course, it's going to be exceptionally difficult, not only with Mubama trying to push his way through from the under-21s as well and establish himself this season. We'll probably see him at the Arsenal game in the League Cup in a couple of weeks' time. But, yeah, it's going to be very difficult to sign a striker in January. Really difficult, because it's a panic buy from one point of view, and you know, and a lot of clubs will put panic prices on. I mean, all prices are panic prices, to be honest with you. But in January, it's even worse. And as a result of that, it'd be a shame. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll talk about it in a couple of months' time. But 3 months' time, really. But as I say, guys, obviously the flip side of it is I know there's a player in the squad that I know you guys want to get rid of in January as well, who is a striker, and I don't blame you in any shape or form. I feel really sorry for Danny. I really, really do. He's a very good player, but he isn't a centre forward anymore. He's more of a number 10 stroke attacking midfielder, whichever way you want to look at it. He works damn hard when he's on the pitch, but he just doesn't seem capable of scoring. And therefore, he's one of the 3 players I've mentioned now that I think will be going in January, if not all 3. And that, unfortunately, is going to be the way that we're going to be able to generate funds because it's the West Ham way of doing things, guys. We know this: 1 in, 1 out, 1 in, 1 out, especially in January. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with it, of course. And guys, always put your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you're thinking on this. But yeah, so do you want Jared Bowen? Do you want? I've already talked about that. Do you want David Moyes to have a new contract? If so, how long would you like it for? And also, likewise, is there any player that we haven't talked about yet in the West Ham squad that you feel deserves a new contract extension? You know, Areola for one. I think we should be definitely having conversations with him. I think we should. But if there's any players you can think of, guys, put them in the comments. But in the meantime, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Apologies that I haven't done much content this week. But as I said earlier, it was the international break. I needed to reset. There's nothing been that worthwhile talking about over the week. I mean, Bowen, yes, but you know me, guys. I need to have a bit more substance than just that, and we've got that now. There's a lot of things to talk about going on at the minute. But as I say, guys, in the meantime, look after yourselves. Take care. There's more content coming up. There's going to be the preview for the Aston Villa game as well, for that matter. There's going to be a conversation between me and Russ. We're going to talk about Arsenal in the League Cup game as well, for that matter. That should be an entertaining one. That's going to be coming up soon. And obviously there's, as I say, the usual preview reviews and post-match and watch-alongs anyway. So guys, please do subscribe if you haven't already done so. Please like this video if you haven't already done so as well. And as I say, please do share this with people so more people can get involved. You know, we seem to be hitting a bit of a stalemate again with subscriber value, which is fine. You know, there's loads of other channels out there that are talking about the same stuff, and it's great. I love it. I love the West Ham community is growing and growing and growing. I absolutely love this. But at the same point, guys, I know you guys want to help out this channel as well, so please do subscribe. But in the meantime, look after yourselves, and I'll see you very, very soon. All the best now. Take care.